a third Schoenmakers will affect the kick, and he does.
Flowers and call, Puopolo pocket. He has it away.
Not the man.
It's not possible.
Mitchell, and then Mitchell on the left gets the ball to Hawthorn. Oh, wow!
And that's your
5 seconds to go. He's at about 13. Can you believe it? He's kicked 13 on the siren.
Welcome to HawkTalk for another week. It is round 16. My name is Limo, and yes, I was playing golf last week. Whatever.
And the week before, and the week before that.
Maybe the week before. But I am back, that's all that matters. Here with Declan Fay and Hawthorn superstar, who we hate seeing on the sidelines, but that's where he is at the moment. Liam Shields, good afternoon.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Now, first things first, I was down in Tassie a couple of weeks ago. I saw you go over on the ankle, and it did not look good. You actually did. You did what Josh Gibson did to his head, you did to your ankle. They were about the same. They looked about as bad as each other. But you actually came back on in the game.
Yeah, that's right. Just tore a few ligaments on the outside of my ankle. Medical staff said it was sweet to go back on. I couldn't make it any worse. So tried to go back on, but I was probably only running at 60%. So probably wasn't worth being out there. And we're up by 50 points at three-quarter time. So
Yeah.
I just said whack the ice pack on it.
Yeah.
Was it one of those ones, because you know with ankles if you've just tweaked it or you know if you've really done it, did you sort of feel it go right up the side?
Yeah, I heard a bit of a pop. So
Yeah, right.
Once I heard that, I knew it wasn't great, and there was probably a few ligaments that were torn.
Yeah.
So it was a bit more than just a little bit of a tweak.
Yeah. You've had a pretty good run with injury though,
I have.
haven't you, over your
I
career?
have, touch wood. I've been pretty lucky. This has probably been my worst injury so far, and it's only a 2 to 4 weeker, so I can't complain.
So you missed Geelong last weekend, obviously. You missed Port, and you think possibly 2 more?
We're pushing to get up for the doggies.
Okay.
Yeah, but we'll wait and see. It might be Essendon the week after.
Yeah, right, okay.
Well, with the injury and with obviously the game against Geelong on the weekend, that we'll endeavour not to talk about too much. There's only 10 points in it, and there was a real feeling amongst Hawks fans this is the time we were going to get them. Do you put our loss down to the Shields factor?
Would like to.
Yeah, bit of hard running in that last quarter.
No, let's say I think Liam Shields would have made the difference.
Yeah.
I think we would have won by 2 or 3 points.
This will be the headline on the heraldsun.com tomorrow. Liam Shields, I would have made the difference.
Yeah, exactly.
No, really, it's us claiming it on your behalf.
That's right.
So that's okay. How was it feels like a stupid question, and maybe it is, but is the preparation going into Geelong any different, or is your preparation week to week pretty much the same?
It's pretty much the same from the coaching staff and out on the training track. The boys obviously probably get a little bit more pumped up because we're playing Geelong and we hadn't beaten them for 10 times in a row. But it's important to keep the same preparation no matter who you're playing and no matter when you're playing. So it's pretty similar.
See, I personally don't mind the loss because now, hopefully, we play Geelong again in the grand final. And I reckon then the psychological edge will spin back to us.
Yeah,
Do you agree, Liam Shields?
I reckon that's a good call, mate. I like that.
So you think it's the hang-up of us beating them in the grand final will then reverse the last 10 games?
I like that. The grand final curse we've got on them.
That's right. It's us saying you can have the 11 irrelevant final round games. We'll take the big ones.
I really like that theory, and I'm going to run that right up into the grand final.
I like it.
Yeah.
So can you just spread that amongst the playing group?
I'll let the boys know.
Now,
I'm sure they'll be
I'll let
keen.
Clarko know.
Where did you watch the game on the weekend? Because I've recently had a small child and was unable. Well, they're always small when you have them, but
They tend to be small. Declan's baby came in at 6'1".
well, this is the first one I couldn't go to, and there was, let's just say, an 8-week-old child was learning a lot of new words in the lounge room. How was your? How were you during the game? Were you watching? Were you in the box or were you just out in the stands?
No, I was just out in the stands, sitting with Grant Birchall and Guerra and Xavier Ellis and a few other blokes that weren't playing. I've played in eight of the losses, so it was a bit different, watching on. But, there's a few words coming out of my mouth that probably can't be repeated on there.
Right.
Do you get animated watching, or are you aware of the fact that you've probably got a camera on you somewhere and there are other fans sitting around that might be listening into what you've got to say?
Yeah, a little bit animated, a little bit nervous for the boys when it got down to 3 points, but also pretty excited. Yeah, a few of the boys get pretty animated.
Yeah.
It's funny to watch.
Clarko sometimes gets very animated.
Clarko does get animated. Although recently we did, and you can see it on the Hawthorn website, Husey and I hooked up to heart rate monitors to watch a game. And my heart rate got up to 141 beats per minute during a Carlton game. Clarko peaked out at 101, averaged about 85.
Oh, really?
He's like super cool.
Yeah.
despite some appearances.
Exactly.
Maybe it's that he's letting it all out and you were bottling it up. So he's actually, well, you're going to have a stroke. Clarko's going to be fine.
That could indeed be it.
Yeah.
Now, mate, before we let you go, are you a fan of all sports? Of the Ashes? Will you have a couple of late nights watching, or the Tour de France?
I do like it, but I like getting to bed early as well. So
right, okay.
it's kind of
So just
catch
do the
22.
highlights the next day
so
on YouTube.
Fox Sports News, YouTube next day.
Well, I've got to ask you. Now, I remember reading an article last year. Was it you and Ruffy? Oh,
Highly unprofessional. Time for my heart pills. Don't mind
that's
me.
actually Clarko messaging right now, going enough on the heart rate, dear mate. Now, I read in an article last year that was it you and Ruffy went to the same trade school together?
Yep.
You're
that's
both
correct.
trained to be landscape gardeners.
Yeah, that's correct.
You can say it here and now. What's Ruffy like as a landscape gardener? A bit rubbish?
He's not too bad.
Yeah.
He likes to boss me around a little bit.
Yeah.
And tell me what to do.
Who's the better landscape gardener out of both of you?
Let's say, to frame it in terms we can understand a little better, if you were each called in to do a backyard on the block, who do you think would score the most points from the judges?
Oh, gee, that's a tough question. Ruffy's not bad. He's been doing it for a couple more years than me.
Who's got the better retaining wall?
Ruffy's got the better retaining.
All right,
I might lay the better turf.
Yeah, okay.
But,
so as a combination, you're actually pretty good.
Great team, yeah.
All right, so if you want to do the backyard, mate, just get them both.
Yeah, great. Shields and Roughhead Landscape Gardening. I say register that business name ASAP. Now, mate, it's multicultural round this weekend. Another great initiative from the AFL to recognise the fact that many different cultures contribute to our great game. You have a background not of this country. Where's that?
Yeah, Dad was born in Ireland.
Right, okay.
So he lived there till he was about 21 and then come over here for a holiday with his best mate and met Mum and decided to stay. So, so both Mum's parents were born in Ireland as well. So
right, okay. Was your dad a Gaelic footballer?
He played a bit of Gaelic and a bit of soccer, yeah.
Yeah, right, okay.
As a fellow Irishman whose parents were also born there, do you ramp up the Irishness? Like if you're out, do you ever put on the accent or say I'm from Ireland? Because it's much easier for Irish blokes to pick up.
I reckon,
I've noticed.
I'd love to have an Irish accent like my old man, but unfortunately I don't.
Just do the Aussie backpacker thing where when they go overseas for a couple of weeks, they mysteriously come back with an accent.
Yeah, that's right.
In the season trip, head to Dublin, come straight back.
Yeah, that might work.
Yeah.
Liam Shields, can you sign this one for us? Because
worries.
we are going to give it away later on in HawkTalk. And, mate, thanks for joining us today. And we can't wait to see you, hopefully, fingers crossed, against the Bulldogs in a couple of weeks.
No worries. Thanks for having me, guys.
Cheers.
Thanks, mate.
Now, Deck, before we get to this week's competition winners and set up next week's competition, we should promote these T-shirts. The Superman tees, available at Hawk's Nest and Hawk's Nest online. Kids are $35, adults $40. What do you reckon?
Not bad.
Now, last week's question, embarrassingly, on reflection, was how do we beat Geelong? I know we had a number of entries. Deck, have you got?
It's backfired on me terribly. I genuinely believed we were going to win, and I thought, won't it be interesting if someone says something and then they've done that?
They've actually done it. Yeah.
And it's backfired terribly.
Yes, it has.
Look, the one I don't want to harp on Jeff Kennett. Less said about Jeff, the better. But the best answer by a mile that we got, who picks up the signed Guernsey from last week, Sammy Mitchell signed Guernsey actually. Was from a bloke called David Perkins, and he writes, clearly something else is going wrong in the club that needs to be rectified. Here's how it's done.
Okay.
Jeff Kennett stands atop Mount Dandenong during a severe electrical storm,
oh dear,
wrapped in aluminium foil, holding aloft the twin swords of truth and justice. He proclaims aloud to the heavens with absolute sincerity, Hawthorn will never again defeat Geelong in a home and away game or a final. In this way, he ensures the perpetuity of the curse, but transfers it to the Cats. Failing this, he becomes Geelong president the day after we win the 2013 grand final.
Was that sent in by Peter Jackson, director of Lord of the Rings?
Oh, it's a remarkable... The only thing he's missed is you've got to have the beret on Jeffrey, and I reckon we get the beret. Someone's actually got to burn it and then sprinkle the ashes on the forward 50 at the MCG.
The beret. Well, it's worth consideration leading into the finals. So there's our winner. You've got yourself a Sam Mitchell signed Guernsey that is coming your way. And our question for next week, Dec, we're playing Port this weekend.
Yeah.
And Port Adelaide have actually been pretty kind to us as a football club when you consider who's crossed the border and joined us here at Hawthorn.
Yeah.
We've had Damien Hardwick as an assistant coach in a
yeah.
premiership year. Alistair Clarkson, of
Yeah.
course, from Port. Stephen Gillam.
Yeah.
Brent Guerra.
Yeah.
Sean Burgoyne,
Yeah.
Stewie Dew.
Oh, the sweetest plum of all,
Yes,
Stewie Dew.
and I may well have forgotten someone
Yeah.
there. I'm not 100% sure. But the question is, who's our best ever recruit, or your favourite recruit, from the Port Adelaide Football Club?
It's very interesting, specific. They always throw up a weird one. These
Yeah.
ones, I'm very interested to see who it throws up. Stewie Dew, I will never forget that third quarter. I know I could actually trace his exact steps to those goals on the MCG, so he's my tip.
Okay, so HawkTalk at hawthornfc.com.au for all your entries. And if you've got any feedback for the show. But that's it for this week, round 16. Hope you've enjoyed. We'll be back next week, and go the Hawks this weekend.
Go Hawks.